What's up, everybody? This is the Jedi. Greetings to you wherever you're listening and watching me from. I remind you, don't forget to subscribe and thumbs up the video, everybody. It's hard enough for black content producers to get seen because of all the games that YouTube plays, especially somebody who speaks the way that I do. I will not sell out. I will not change. But I need you. You are my secret weapon. I told you guys in my last piece that they had just wiped 10 subscribers from my subscriber count, and it could have been more than that. You know what I mean? Because I don't know how many subscribers I don't see that I get, that they play some kind of game and I never see that. Like, you think you've subscribed and then I don't see the number and then we just don't know about it. That's why I've said you can't just, if you're a new subscriber, when you subscribe, I need you to leave a note in the comments saying I subscribed. That way we have a record. So even if they play games with the number, we've got the evidence that you subscribed. You got to do that, everybody. You got to do that. And also thumbs up the video as well. And you got to leave a note for that. So if you're a new subscriber and you thumbs up the video and subscribe, then leave that comment that you thumbs up and you subscribed. If you've been with me, I know you will thumbs up the video, but you got to leave a note, you guys. You got to. Because if we don't, then let's say excuse me, 300 people thumbs up the video, but I see 2 thumbs up. They get away with that if you don't leave your record that you thumbs up. So you gotta leave a note or a comment, whether you're new or you're old. You gotta leave a comment to document your action. That's the only way I'm going to be able to be successful in this particular part of my lawsuit against them. As I told you guys, years ago, I already have a grounds for another portion of the lawsuit. I just didn't pursue it because at that time I was in the throes of trying to get to Africa, and I just didn't want to deal with it, that or anything else American, quite frankly. But there was a situation where I had put up a reaction video to Lonnie Love, the comedian, in quotations, because I've never laughed at anything she said. She had rolled out her new boyfriend, James, and I had to have my say on it. Well, they took the video down. Later, I literally have a clip on my computer right now from that show where she was later on the reel, and they were talking about their online experiences and stuff like that. And she goes, "Girl, I had this one guy that was talking about James as a slave master, and bed wenches and all this other stuff." And she cited the timestamp of the video. She cited things I had said in the video. She cited that it was a male. She goes, and I had it taken down. And then either Adrian or Jeannie said, "How'd you do that?" She goes, "Girl, I called people. I called YouTube. I know people." So that means that somebody at YouTube, acting on behalf of YouTube as their agent, did this nefarious act for her. She's a public figure. It was a big deal that she had now introduced this person to the public, because I watched the reel from season 1. And I had right to have commentary on it. So I've got a lawsuit against Lonnie Love's fat ass and YouTube and the person who acted on their behalf. So, and there's some other things too that we have documented. You know, in one of our recent streams, I showed you where one of my queens, Anjanae 23, shout out to you, Anjanae. She caught it, that my thumbs up on a video was a live stream, I think it might have been. Anyways, the subscriber count, or the thumbs up, was over 1,000 thumbs ups. And then a few minutes later, or whatever the time frame was, we see that the number was like I don't remember what it was. It was so vastly different, like maybe 4 or 40 or so. I can't remember, but I showed it to you guys in one of our recent lives. So they're definitely playing games. So this is one of the ways that we can prove our claim, everybody, is you're going to have to make a record when you thumbs up, and if you're new, certainly when you subscribe. So I have to communicate that to you. I'm back now because I'm calling bullshit on they're calling it a plane crash in Philly. I don't think that was a plane. The moment I saw it, in fact, the first video that was sent to me looked like a war zone. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a war zone. It looked like one of those end of time movies, fictions, with, I don't know, Will Smith or somebody. And I just went, no, that's not it. But I have some video that I'm going to show you to back up my claim. And I will prosecute my point of view on the Philly alleged plane crash. But I want to begin with this from the mid-air crash in DC that happened the other day. Because we have new video, and originally it was exclusive video obtained by CNN. I was going to get the CNN clip, but I see somebody else got it, and so that's fine. It doesn't matter. I just need the clip. And the purpose for this is because I was saying to you, where is the helicopter? Like, if the helicopter hit the American Airlines plane and it went into the Potomac, well, then I kept saying throughout my last video, we see the wreckage from the American Airlines plane. Where is the wreckage from the helicopter? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I kept asking. So we now have from this video that two things went into the Potomac. And I had also speculated. I said, and if we don't see wreckage from a helicopter, then I'm even willing to say that it wasn't a helicopter that hit the airplane. I said that. I also said it could have also been that no one was on the helicopter, because they've had the technology for many, many decades to be able to fly commercial airlines and helicopters remotely from the ground. And I cited that because I was making the claim that they said there was 3 people in the helicopter, but they only identified 2 names. Who's the third person? And at the time of our last video, only 1 person had allegedly been pulled from the wreckage. But they've shown us no pictures of their family and their whole background and all that stuff like they've been doing with other people on the airplane. But on the helicopter, we didn't have any pictures of the victims and, all the stuff they did and all the video, like the stuff they had from people from the plane. We saw their careers, we saw their childhood, we saw their family, we saw everything. So that was part of the claim that I was making. So I want to show you this, but then I also want to show you video proving my claim that they do have the ability to fly helicopters by remote control. And I have video of no less than a Black Hawk helicopter being flown remotely. Now, first see this.
In this video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen. The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the 2 collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river.
Now, call me crazy, but that looks deliberate.
In the second video, you can see the Army helicopter and American Airlines plane travel toward each other.
Look.
After the collision and subsequent explosion, the airliner can be seen spinning into the water, and the Black Hawk is also seen falling into the water. In this video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen. The American Airlines plane can be seen flying towards the airport before the two collide, causing a mid-air explosion and fall into the river.
And again, is that absolute proof that that was a helicopter? No. But we'll allow it for now. You know, we'll allow it. We'll allow it. We'll just allow it. One more time.
In this video, the Black Hawk can be seen flying at speed over the Potomac from the left side of the screen.
I mean, you know, it does, you know how helicopters usually have that sort of pitch with the tail up. And you know, when they fly, the body of it usually is at an angle like that. That's even subjective because, you know, at higher speeds, then they do lean forward. I don't know, but again, you see how the place is it's illuminated. There's a lot of lights on the ground. Remember, the flying near the airport. This is over DC, so it's illuminated, and so just the suggestion that they wouldn't have seen this airplane does not hold water to me. Every clip that we've seen, the thing that's consistent is this bright ass landing light on this American Airlines plane. The landing lights on airplanes are very, very, very bright, as they should be, and they need to be. And I'm just not buying it. Also, we learned that I am right, because I told you they're trying to shift liability. They're trying to make it seem like there's just all this ambiguity and we just don't know, and we have to wait to see what really happened, and we just don't know yet. It's too soon, and it's not. The fact of the matter is the case is closed. What happened is this American Airlines plane was on short final approach from the runway, literally, gear down, and out of nowhere comes this damn helicopter. You should also know that there's another video that I saw that I'm not going to bring you that because I didn't save it. It is a pilot, a captain. I forget which airline he works for now, but he has flown this same approach that the American Airlines plane flew. He had video of that, of the approach, literally like GoPro video. And as it turns out, when you're coming down the Potomac on this particular approach to this particular runway 33, you are actually turning to the left. You're turning to a left. It's a turn to the left. So the pilot and the first officer would obviously be looking to their left because they're turning and they're looking to line up with that runway. And at that altitude, you don't need to be looking around for any traffic because there shouldn't be any traffic at that altitude, and certainly when you're just a couple thousand feet from the runway. Literally. So they'd be looking to the left. He pointed this out, and you didn't have to be a pilot for that. You went to see this. You went, yeah, I totally get it. And so you wouldn't be expecting some damn helicopter to come reaming out of the side on your right side. It didn't have to just be a helicopter, just anything. You're not going to see it because this is it. You're on your final approach. Your short final, no less. I make that distinction, everybody, because final approach can start, like for this particular approach, can start 80 miles out. Final approach can be like a minute. So short final is like the last 2 minutes of the flight, if that. So they would have been looking to the left. We also learned that I was also right, I was about to say a moment ago, that the helicopter was at the wrong altitude. They are not supposed to fly over 200 feet. And then there's an acronym for above the ground. I can't remember what it is. That means you can only fly 100 to 200 feet above the surface, like of whatever the lowest thing is. So if it's this fence that's here in the foreground here, whatever 100 or 200 feet is over that right there is how high you can fly. If you're flying over a mountain, you can't be, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to say you can't, it's not, it's, you have to be that altitude above the actual surface of whatever you're flying over. We learned that they were at anywhere from 300 to 350 feet, potentially 400 feet, and they were too high. They were not where they were supposed to be. And I found video of that I may show you. I want to deal with the Philadelphia thing, but I want to show you, well, maybe I'll show it to you, but I have several pilots and several helicopter pilots who flew the Black Hawk saying they were in the wrong place. This is just pilot error. End of story. Close the book. We done. You feel me? So that's very important. So what we have outstanding now that's suspicious is, was this on purpose? Who was the third person on the helicopter? Why don't we have that name? Why? Why? And then, as I say, I maintain my claim that they are trying to shift liability to try and make it seem like it's the air traffic controllers and not the military, just for arrogance and prestige, but also for money, because lawsuits are going, I'm sure, are being filed now by families and members of families and things like that. And when you present a lawsuit, you want to sue the person with the fattest pockets if there is liability. And absolutely, there's no question about liability as it relates to this fucking helicopter. Period. The damn end. Now, so I want to show you now proof of the ability to fly these helicopters by remote control. Before I do that, I wanted to show you this, you guys, because you remember I did a fantastic piece on this thing that happened in Baltimore where this tanker ran into this bridge and suddenly the bridge just went down. And I showed that that bridge was brought down with explosive. It's not even a question. Like, it's not even a question. They needed the tanker just to hit this for the effect of it. It's like with 9/11. The buildings were already rigged to be taken down with explosives, but they needed the planes to give you to say that that's the reason why the buildings were destroyed. So this was the same formula. Quick, get us a tanker. We're gonna blow up the bridge, but we can't just blow it up. It's gotta look like something caused it. And this was that. You see it deliberately steers towards it so it can hit it. Boom. And then in my video, which you don't see it in theirs, but in my video, you see where I isolate the sections of the bridge, and you clearly see explosions coming off the sections. It's not even like Stevie Wonder could see it. I really mean that. I really mean that. But I want to get to this helicopter. Now, watch this. This is a Black Hawk helicopter.
Your eyes are not playing tricks on you. There's no pilot inside this helicopter. It's 2022, so let's face it, we're used to seeing all types of vehicles operate themselves. From cars to boats, drones, even motorcycles. But some people might say there's something a little ominous about seeing a military-grade helicopter flying without a pilot. This is part of a project from Lockheed Martin's subsidiary, Sikorsky, and DARPA. Now, if you're not familiar with DARPA, it's a research and development agency for the US Department of Defense. And according to DARPA, this marked the first time a Black Hawk helicopter flew without anyone on board.
See there?
Your eyes are
Receipts.
not playing tricks on you. There's no pilot inside this helicopter. It's 2022, so let's face it, we're used to seeing all types of vehicles operate themselves. From cars to boats, drones, even motorcycles. But some people might say there's something a little ominous about seeing a military-grade helicopter flying without a pilot. This is part of a project from Lockheed Martin's subsidiary, Sikorsky, and DARPA. Now, if you're not familiar with DARPA, it's a research and development agency for the U.S. Department of Defense. And according to DARPA, this marked the first time a Black Hawk helicopter flew with...
And by the way, that's one of the claims that I make in my 9/11 video. I certainly point out that they've had the ability to fly commercial airliners by remote control. You understand? So I believe that that's also one of the many things that was in play on that day as well.
Without anyone on board.
Okay, and then it starts over. Excuse me. I want to go to now something else that I found, because in my other piece that I did on this DC crash, we saw the orange lard ass come out and start blaming the crash on DEI. And oh, by the way, he was the one that had deregulated a lot of the FAA shit on his first term and gotten rid of some of the agencies and things like that. Whatever. But I made the comment that contrasting him with Obama, I told you, like, Obama had two scandals during his 8 years of presidency. One was wearing a damn tan suit, and the other one was identifying with Trayvon Martin in a human and personal way and culturally. And that was enough to piss pathetic ass Neanderthalic ass white people off. So I found a piece where somebody is contrasting Obama with the orange lard ass, and I thought that would be worth viewing. Let's see that. Okay, see this now.
Before I begin, I want to say a brief word about the terrible tragedy that took place outside of Buffalo last night.
This has been a terrible, very short period of time. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Look, one looks like a supermodel, executive, professional, lawyer, intelligent, leader, laureate.
Before I begin, I want to say
articulate, looks put together, crisp, great haircut.
A brief word about the terrible tragedy that took place outside of Buffalo last night.
This has been
The other one, a lard-ass fat slob that looks like a fucking raccoon around the eyes. No shade to raccoons, they're the cutest thing ever. And just a sloppy piece of crap. But this is what white people hold up as excellence, everybody. That's their excellence. Bon appetit. There you go. There you have it. I've delivered. I've done it. I've done my civic duty. I've delivered excellence to the American people. You have it on your screen there. That's it. Second to none. You understand?
Terrible tragedy that took place outside of Buffalo last night.
This has been a terrible, very short period of time. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends
from the heart.
Lost loved ones.
I've had the honor of hearing tapes. Tapes are scary. You had a helicopter that had the ability to stop. I have helicopters. You can stop a helicopter very quickly.
And as always, our thanks go out.
Now, we didn't hear him say that, and because the clip we saw of him speaking. Shut up, Jedi. Let's just hear the whole clip and just shut up, because I haven't seen the whole clip. So I'm going to shut up, and then I'll react.
Before I begin, I want to say a brief word about the terrible tragedy that took place outside of Buffalo last night.
This has been a terrible, very short period of time. We'll get to the bottom of it.
Our thoughts and prayers are with the families and friends who lost loved ones.
I've had the honor of hearing tapes. Tapes are scary. Get a helicopter that had the ability to stop. I have helicopters. You can stop a helicopter very quickly.
And as always, our thanks go out to the brave first responders who arrived immediately to try and save lives. We're still on the scene, keeping people safe.
You could have slowed down the helicopter substantially. You could have stopped the helicopter.
I
You
said
could
that.
have gone up. You could have gone down. You could have gone straight up, straight down. You could have turned. You could have done a million different maneuvers. For some reason, it just kept going.
Tragic events such as these remind us of the fragility of life and the value of every single day.
It just seems to me, from a couple of words that I like to use, the words common sense, some really bad things happened, and you have people that lost their lives, violently lost their lives.
One person who understood that well was Beverly Eckert, who was on that flight and who I met with just a few days ago. You see, Beverly lost her husband on 9/11 and became a tireless advocate for those families whose lives were forever changed on that September day.
There are things where you have to go by brain power, you have to go by psychological quality. Psychological quality is a very important element of it. These are
Psychological equality. I had to stop it there, y'all, because I didn't point it out when he said, just shut up, Jedi.
various very powerful tests that we put to use, and they were terminated by Biden, and Biden went by a standard that's the exact opposite.
In keeping with that passionate commitment, she was on her way to Buffalo to mark what would have been her husband's birthday and launch a scholarship in his memory.
Wow.
So she was an inspiration to me and to so many others, and I pray that her family finds peace and comfort in the hard days ahead.
Do you have a plan to go visit the site or meet with any of the
I have a plan to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site? The water?
Plan to meet with the first site or meet with any of the
I have a plan to visit, not the site, because you tell me what's the site? The water?
or to meet
You
with
want
the
me to go
first
swimming?
spot?
You want me to go swimming? Nothing says thoughts and prayers like a bucked up comment like that, everybody. There's your commander-in-chief, Bon Appetit. The picture of excellence right there. The picture of excellence. Every child should aspire to this. It's such an example, and I think I'm getting a little worked up. I'm just getting emotional now because it's so perfect. It's such a shining example of humanity and human excellence that I've just shaken to my core, and I don't know if I can go on. I can't. Anyways, but the fat bastard did make a point that I made in my rantings about the DC event. I pointed out to you, I was like, helicopters, I said, and just forget even a news helicopter. This is a Black Hawk, a military helicopter. They're very agile and very maneuverable. They can do stuff. They have the ability to hover. They can practically stop in midair. So that's what the fat ass said. And it seems like he was alluding to some suspicion, certainly leaning towards admitting liability of the helicopter and not the airplane. So there's that. Anyways, I want to move now to this Philadelphia thing, because this was not, I don't even believe it was a plane crash, and I'll prove my case. Now, this is from a dash cam. But to give you more context, you need to know that people were saying they felt the ground move under their feet. They felt the explosion. Houses rocked. Do you understand? Multiple explosions. There were several fires. That is not consistent with an airplane crash. Certainly not a so-called small aircraft even. So let's see this, and then I'll show you my series of videos where I'm proving my claim that I don't believe this was an airplane. This is our first short piece. Just a few seconds.
And, yep.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, Michael! No! We can't block it.
Oh,
I'm calling 911.
See it again.
and yep.
Oh, Michael! No! We
You
can't
don't hear
block it.
engine sounds. Listen carefully.
I'm calling 911.
And yep.
Oh, Michael! No! We can't block it.
You see?
Oh,
I'm calling 911.
and yep.
Oh, Michael!
You see all the debris.
We can't block it.
Oh,
I'm calling.
We also know, allegedly, that at least one car was hit on the ground and a person died in the car. That's what we're being told. We'll see the press conference, a piece of the press conference as well, but let's go on. This one now. Watch very closely. See how massive the explosion is. Now, I'm also allowing that there's a cloud cover, and I know how that can look, but this is still massive even without the cloud cover. Do you understand? I know how a cloud cover can make something look more intense, but certainly fires and things like that, but this is not that. And where's the black smoke from the fuel burning off now? Where is that at? We don't have it. We saw that little bit of black smoke that went up and then it was over. Look here at the right hand portion of your screen now. We want to see this object, I'll call it. You see there? As it's coming in, right here. I don't know if you can even see my cursor, but just be watching. I'll play it again. Play it again. I'll play it again. Also, everybody, unless your wings are no longer on your airplane, you don't descend that fast. I'll even show you this fighter jet that fell out of the sky in Alaska, I think it was, the other day. And you see how it doesn't just go down like a missile. You understand? I mean, it just doesn't. Even after the collision of the helicopter and the American Airlines plane, nothing looked like a missile going down. This has the characteristics of a missile. Watch again. I'll play it again. 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 One more time. Now, I've got another angle that I want to show you. First, let me show you this fighter jet falling out of the sky. Notice the rate of descent, because it's got wings. You see how it's coming down? You see that? You see? It doesn't move like a missile, honing in on a target. By the way, I wonder if the pilot got out of that. I didn't see an ejection. You see the rate of descent? Just one more time. You see? It didn't have the missile, like, you know. So I needed to show you that. Let's go on. Again, watch the sort of middle right of your screen. You see there? Here. You see the item, the object? One more time. Remember, I just showed you the rate of descent on that fighter jet. It's got wings. Look. You see, and then just the level of the explosion is just like, what are we talking about? Watch the object again. You see it? Again. 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 One more time. Look at the size of this fireball. Like, I can't. I think I have one or two more. I know I've got at least one more. Let's see this now. This one is really interesting. Watch very carefully. Watch very carefully. First, I'll just run the sequence and then I'll point out because I'll see if you get it on your own.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar! What the hell? What the hell? What the hell? Oh my God! Oh my God! La ilaha illallah! There's a plane, bro!
Now, watch very closely. You see how small this thing is? This small, something hits before the explosion. You see that? I'll play it again. You see? You see it? You see it? That's not an airplane, everybody. I don't give a damn. One more time. You see that? That's not an airplane. That's something small and not a small airplane. You see that? Even the sound of it is consistent with a missile. You see that? We see the fire before we hear the explosion. Notice, listen, and watch. Fire. Now explosion. One more time. Fire. We have it. Now the boom. Again. Fire. Now the boom. One more time. Fire. Now the boom. And this is close. This isn't like we're miles away from this. This is close. The person isn't even using a zoom.
Allahu Akbar!
You see that? And by the way, I told you guys, outside of Michigan, the next highest population of Muslims in this country is in Philly. So not surprised we hear somebody on the video saying, making the takbir, Allahu Akbar.
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar!
You see?
Allahu Akbar! Allahu Akbar, what the hell?
They've also not been clear about what the airplane is, and thus far, it's obviously it's still a developing story. I have not seen. Usually if they don't have the airplane, they'll show you a picture of one that's like that, and we don't have it. We don't. So that also makes it suspicious and nefarious.
What the hell? What the hell?
Again,
oh my God.
your quick black smoke, and then it's all
God.
gone.
La ilaha illallah. There's a plane, bro.
He was about to say La ilaha illallah. But one more, because then I'm going to show you what they're claiming is a piece of this thing. Now, watch this one.
Yeah, man, she's still on.
There you see the object, whatever it is.
Yeah, man.
It sent them back in the house.
She's still on. Yeah, man. She's still on.
One more time.
Yeah, man. She's still on.
Now, first this one, because I want you to see what a war zone it looks like. A war zone. Look at this. But we don't have anything that looks like an airplane. Where's the wing sections, tail sections, fuselage sections? Where's it at? Even this building over here looks like it's damaged. Over here to the left, behind this this sign, this sort of red-looking sign that looks like the side of that building has been. I don't know. And whatever this piece is, this. Look at that. What is this piece? You see what I'm saying?
What exploded? What exploded?
It looks like a war zone. One small plane did that? Huh? You want to tell me an A380 went down? All right, let's talk about it. Don't give me a small plane.
What exploded? What exploded?
And you see everybody's using the term exploded, exploded, exploded. You understand? Exploded. Now I want to show you this ridiculous thing that they're offering up as potential, as they're claiming this was part of the. I can't. And they want us to believe now that this came off of that. There's no charring. There's no fire damage at fucking all, and conveniently, it has a medical logo on it, everybody. And I know from a news report that I saw that this is blocks away from where whatever just crashed. So we're to believe then that this was thrown conveniently into a parking lot with no charring on it at all. Plus, what part of a plane could this be from? You feel me? This looks like a piece just being thrown out there to say, see, that's what happened. But it's not big enough to be a section on even a small plane.
Alguma coisa de emergência. Caramba, mano. Você tá louco?
And this is in a parking lot. But suspiciously, all the first responders are on the other side. These people are just able to be over here. How are they over here examining this? And we see no first responder or official people over here on this side at all. Notice who's standing there, everybody. Notice what's in front of you. Like, nah.
Misericórdia. E era um avião relacionado com alguma coisa de emergência. Caramba, mano. Você tá...
You want to tell me this was one of the military drones? I'll hear you.
Misericórdia.
Look at that. But these are just regular ass people, and this guy is getting close-ups of it. Where's that video online of what he's filming? You understand?
Caramba, mano. Você tá louco? Que loucura.
But no official people over here at all.
Wow. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Galera do céu, vocês não estão entendendo. A loucura que tá isso aqui. E o tanto de peça. Olha lá onde tem fogo ali, ó. Atingiu foi 2 lugares, não foi só um, não.
So you saw, when I showed you what looked like the war zone, these little tiny pieces and whatever that yellow piece was that was in the middle of the street, it's in a million pieces. This is not even near that. So we're to believe that this piece flew away from that, got no burning, no charring from this massive explosion that looked like a damn nuclear bomb practically, and landed conveniently in this parking lot, and that's all fine.
Foram vários lugares. Wow.
Where there just happens to be some sort of construction going on, because we see porta potties out here, we see cherry picker cranes, you know. One more time, y'all. Again, no charring, no burning, no nothing.
Misericórdia. E era um avião
It's white as snow.
relacionado com alguma coisa de emergência. Caramba, mano. Você tá louco? Que loucura.
And this matters because I'm going to show you just a clip of this news report where they're highlighting that. Like, you can see the medical logo right there.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Galera do céu, vocês não estão entendendo. A loucura que tá isso aqui. E o tanto de peça. Olha lá onde tem fogo ali, ó. Atingiu foi 2 lugares, não foi só um lugar.
Also, I don't know what he's speaking. I thought it was Spanish at first. If it is Spanish, it's some Spanish I don't speak. Like, I don't know. Like, I'm like, what the fuck is he saying?
E era um avião relacionado com alguma coisa de emergência. Caramba, mano. Você tá louco.
And I guess he's on the phone with somebody, whatever.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now suddenly he's yes sir, all perfect English. And notice the people that are walking away from it.
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
he
sir.
says, you gotta go. And what are these cars? Like, why is there a line of cars? I guess they're diverting through here now because of the fire down the road. But look at the people that are walking away. They're all young people. For the most part.
Galera do céu, vocês não estão entendendo.
It's all males, no
A
females.
loucura que tá isso aqui. E o tanto de peça. Olha lá onde tem fogo ali, ó. Atingiu foi 2 lugares, não foi só um não. Foram vários lugares.
Let me show you this news clip.
It is 11 o'clock, and we are continuing our breaking news coverage. Flames fill a northeast Philadelphia neighborhood after a small jet crashes near Roosevelt Boulevard. People who live in the area say their homes shook on impact.
You see how they did that? That wasn't in any footage that I showed you this actual clip. Where did we get the, oh my God, it's a plane. It's a plane. Where did we get that? You see? That's just like on 9/11, everybody, when everybody on Earth says, I saw the second plane hit the building. But when you do your research that I've done, you realize that there was no plane. We have video from the ground of the building just spontaneously exploding. You understand? Oh my God. And then you hear the bitch on TV go, oh my God, it was another one. Another plane just hit. And then you hear the reporter out in the field on the ground say, no, the building just blew up. There was no plane. She goes, no, but we just saw another one. We just saw another one. You see what I'm saying? So this audio of this, a plane is meant to put that into your psyche that that's what it was, to give you an explanation, damn it, Jedi, to give you an explanation during a moment of high crisis to plant something into your brain. You see something traumatic, define it for you while you're saying it.
Flames fill a northeast Philadelphia neighborhood after a small jet.
It's kind of like, when they want dogs to attack, they like, this is the enemy, and they associate that with, they do stuff to associate that when they see that. It's the same psychological idea. Show you something, dramatic, and at the same time I'm showing it to you, define it for you as I'm showing it to you.
It's 11 o'clock, and we are continuing our breaking news coverage. Flames fill a northeast Philadelphia neighborhood after a small jet crashes near Roosevelt Boulevard. People who live in the area say their homes shook on impact.
Their homes shook, everybody, from a small jet plane, allegedly. It just hit. How does bitch know it's a plane? You see what I'm saying? That was some false audio, in my view.
I'm Yuki Washington. I want to thank Janelle Burrell also for helping us with our coverage this evening. Authorities tell us 6 people.
Okay, brother, I see what you're trying to give, but the civil rights look is kind of out right now. You might want to be a little bit more contemporary. Just a suggestion. Appreciate the shape up. and all that, but the Dr. King look is kind of faded, so you might want to just switch lanes. I'm just saying, I mean, I'm going to move to the left. You say, I'm going to fall back. 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 I'm just going to fall back. You feel me?
Thank you, Burrell, also for helping us with our coverage this evening. Authorities tell us 6 people were on board, including a young child, a little girl that was...
the heartstrings, everybody. There was a young child on board. We have to have the sympathy element. You see, wait, it doesn't have the sympathy element. Quick, we need something. Because the first reports that there was 2 people on this plane. That's the very first reports that I understood. 2 people on the plane. As of now that I'm speaking to you, my understanding is that it was 6 people. Now, Yuki just says to us that a small child was on the plane. That's meant to put the suspicion out of your mind, everybody. But wait, there was a child involved. You see? That's why when they give you some planned event, they always go, we have to think about the victims. Immediately takes you to the sympathy place so that you don't start critical thinking. Critical thinking. There was a small child on board. So now they know there was a small... How do you know all this already? So then now you should know what type of plane it was. Show me a picture now of the plane. Go, Yuki. Go, go, go.
For helping us with our coverage this evening. Authorities tell us 6 people were on board, including a young child, a little girl that was...
A little girl, no less.
Medical flight carrying 2 pilots, 2 doctors, a patient, and...
2 pilots, 2 doctors, a patient.
The mother of that patient, that little girl.
And the mother of the little girl is the patient. So it's all there. We have all the sympathy notes. Play them now in symphony. I'd like maybe a G minor if we could just get that.
Right now, there's no confirmation that anyone survived. The plane went down on Cotman Avenue near Roosevelt Mall. The debris field is extensive, spanning several blocks. Reports say multiple people...
Spanning several blocks, said Yuki to us.
That anyone survived. The plane went down on Cotman Avenue near Roosevelt Mall. The debris field is extensive, spanning several blocks. Reports say multiple people on the ground are said to have been injured. Now take a look at this light green line in the middle of your screen. That's the small plane taking off from Northeast Airport bound for...
So you know everything about who's on the plane and all that. So you're saying it's a small plane. You're not telling us what type of plane it was? That's immediately suspicious. You knew the exact age of the little girl that was on the flight, that she was the patient, that her mother's with her, who was the makeup of the crew. You knew, so you don't know the type of plane. You know everything about what's in the plane, but you know the plane itself? That doesn't fly with me, dude.
Are said to have been injured. Now take a look at this light green line in the middle of your screen. That's the small plane taking off from Northeast Airport bound for Springfield, Missouri. It was in the air for only
minutes. They knew where it was going.
Minutes before it went down.
They know it was only in the air for a few minutes before it went down.
And we're getting our first look.
Look, now, here we go. Listen to this. Listen to Yuki.
At the plane. You can see the medical symbol right there on the piece of...
You can see the medical symbol right there. It's camera ready. With not a fucking piece of... what do you call it? There's no burning or any evidence of fire on it. And he said, we're getting our first look at the plane. Why aren't you describing what type of plane went down? They know that by now. It was a whatever, with tail number, whatever. They know that. Unless it wasn't. Do you understand? Because this is right back to 9/11, everybody. The Pentagon. Go and watch my 9/11 video. You'll see where Pentagon officials, like military people, I'm talking about the suits, the executive types, not somebody in just some fatigues. And Rumsfeld. There they are out on the front lawn with these little pieces of airplane that have been painted to look like it could be an American Airlines colors. It was about that size and everything. I mean, it's the same thing. Here we go again.
Off from Northeast Airport, bound for Springfield, Missouri.
So they know where it was. So if you knew all this, you know what fucking type of plane it is.
It was in the air for only minutes before it went down. And we're getting our first look at the plane.
We're getting our first look at the plane, said Yuki. That's not a look at the plane. You see?
You can see the medical symbol right there on the piece of debris in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot.
This is right up there also, everybody, with they want us to believe that on 9/11, the planes went into the towers. We saw the big fireball and all of it. But somehow, the passport of, I think it was either Hani Hanjour or Mohammed Atta, their passport was in perfect condition on the New York street. Oh, we found it. Well, look, we found it. So steel and titanium is not accounted for before you get to the aluminum of the fuselage. We just need the steel and titanium of the engines. So that is vaporized. But lo and behold, this invincible paper will come through every time for you. So that's what we learned. So that's fine. This is that. Right up there with that again, dude. There it is.
Down. And we're getting our first look at the plane.
No,
you can
not.
see the medical symbol right there on the piece of debris in the Roosevelt Mall parking lot. We have a team of reporters live near the scene of the crash tonight. And
here they go with the team of reporters now. I don't know if we need to watch all this. I haven't watched it. I just saw that opening piece and knew that, yeah, this is what I need. We'll see if there's anything of exculpatory value in the piece. Let's go.
The newsroom as well, bringing you the very latest. Let's begin our coverage now with Carrie Corrado. Carrie?
Yuki, good evening. This was all hands on deck. The moment that plane went down, every firefighter, every police.
Okay, Carrie, hi. I didn't want to interrupt your remote live segment. If you don't mind. So it's not raining, and there's people walking all around that don't have coats and jackets. So why are you trying to look like you in a hurricane zone? We just don't understand. You can get back to your remote, Carrie. I didn't want to interrupt. Again, Beyonce had the best album of the year. She had the best video of the year. I'm going to let you finish. But Beyonce had the best coverage of a plane crash this year. So, back to
Yuki,
Carrie.
good evening. This was all hands on deck. The moment that plane went down, every firefighter, every police officer ran to help. And they have been here for hours, and they will continue.
Every firefighter, every police officer ran to help. You feel me? Go on, Carrie.
Continue to be here processing the scene. Police say this all happened in the area of the Roosevelt.
You see, they give you these keywords: processing the scene. You see, that's right in the same list of ongoing. What's the other one? Let's see, processing the scene, ongoing. It's another term they use when everything's very early, like it's just new right now. We'll know. They'll probably come up as we go through this. But these all make me sick and send me on the night flight to go to fucking hospital on airlift.
Mall at Roosevelt Boulevard and Cottman Avenue. We are told a medical plane was going from Philadelphia to Springfield, Missouri. It left the Northeast Philadelphia airport and not long after crashed into the neighborhood.
Well, then what plane was it? What was the flight number? What was the tail number? Since you are told all of this, where's the shit? Again, this is the stuff that breeds disbelief. If you can prove it, show your claim. Show it. Show it.
Be here
Tell
processing the scene. Police say this all happened in the area of the Roosevelt Mall at Roosevelt Boulevard and Cottman Avenue. We are told a medical plane was going from Philadelphia to Springfield, Missouri. It left the Northeast Philadelphia airport and not long after crashed into the neighborhood. The United States Secretary.
And is this being used to divert your attention away from D.C.? Is it being used?
Secretary of Transportation said there were 6 people on the plane at the time of the crash. According to a statement from...
There were 6 people on the plane at the time of the crash. One actually had eczema and the other one had a chipped nail. The other one had just gotten her hair done and the other one had a brain. Come on! What type of plane? I'm getting worked up.
Transportation said there were 6 people on the plane at the time of the crash. According to a statement from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, the 6 people were 4 crew members, a pediatric patient, and a patient's escort. We are told the pediatric patient had just finished treatment in Philadelphia and was being taken back to Mexico. Witnesses describe the moment of impact like a fireball. They say their homes shook and many abandoned their cars and ran. Several homes and vehicles were...
Their homes shook from a small plane, everybody. Their homes shook from a small plane.
Philaelphia and was being taken back to Mexico. Witnesses describe the moment of impact like a fireball.
Wait now. Being taken back to Mexico. We gotta go back to this flight shit again. Wait, Carrie. Wait now.
Continue to be here processing the scene. Police say this all happened in the area of the Roosevelt Mall at Roosevelt Boulevard.
Reports say multiple people on the ground are said to have been injured. Now take a look at this light green line in the middle of your screen. That's the small plane taking off from Northeast Airport bound for Springfield, Missouri.
He said bound for Springfield, Missouri. The bitch Carrie just said they were on his way back to Mexico. We'll just hear it again.
Take a look at this light green line in the middle of your screen. That's the small plane taking off from Northeast Airport bound for Springfield, Missouri. It was in the air for only minutes.
Bound for Springfield, Missouri, everybody. We'll just hear it again.
Green. That's the small plane taking off from Northeast Airport bound for Springfield, Missouri. It was in the air for only minutes before it went down. And we're getting our first look.
Now let's hear Carrie.
Officer ran to help, and they have been here for hours, and they will continue to be here processing the scene. Police say this all happened in the area of the Roosevelt Mall at Roosevelt Boulevard and Cottman Avenue. We are told a medical plane was going from Philadelphia to Springfield, Missouri. It left the Northeast Philadelphia Airport, and not long after crashed. Crashed into the neighborhood. The United States Secretary of Transportation said there were 6 people on the plane at the time of the crash.
She just said it was on its way to Missouri.
According to a statement from Jet Rescue Air Ambulance, the 6 people were 4 crew members, a pediatric patient, and a patient's escort. We are told the pediatric patient had just finished treatment in Philadelphia and was being taken
to Missouri. Go, Carrie.
Back to Mexico.
No, to Missouri. It was en route to Missouri.
Just finished treatment in Philadelphia and was being taken back to Mexico.
Where the fuck did she get Mexico? Class? Anyone?
Witnesses describe the moment of impact like a fireball. They say their homes shook and many abandoned their cars and ran. Several homes and vehicles were impacted and debris and fire was everywhere. The FAA, the NTSB, the FBI, and other agencies are here. Here is what one witness said he saw.
I was just talking to my mom in the pull-through right next to Dunkin' Donuts, and all of a sudden we just heard this whirring and then this crash, and it was an explosion right next to Dunkin' Donuts, and everyone just started screaming. My mom told me to back up, back up, back up.
Okay, we'll strike my previous testimony, Your Honor. I'd like to redirect. We do see that some other dumbass is wearing a hoodie and the whole thing, so we'll forgive Carrie on that indictment, but we still hold our other charges.
An explosion right next to Dunkin' Donuts, and everyone just started screaming. My mom told me to back up, back up, back up.
The mayor says there is shelter at the Samuel Fells High School. The Red Cross has also been going around asking anyone if they were affected and where they can get help. I do want to highlight that many of the stories I've been hearing are neighbors helping neighbors. This community came together in times of tragedy. Yuki?
Neighbors helping neighbors.
It's
Carrie,
5 minutes
so much in reporting tonight.
This neighborhood came together in a time of tragedy. You see how they try to craft the story and thereby influence your emotional response to it, everybody? This is one of the things that I mean when I say to my people a billion times, I say to you, you have to be the captain of your vessel, everybody. That means your entire you. Your soul, your being, your body, all that is you. This is the vessel. This is the vessel. Your mind, your emotions, your thoughts, your understanding, your knowledge, what you consume, to eat, to hear, to see. You understand? You must be the captain of your vessel, and you got to stand at your gate. And you got to be vigilant. Vigilant. This is what you see me doing right here. I'm being vigilant. I'm understanding. Nah, that's an influence. I don't need to accept that. That's coming in. Haha, I see that.
High School, the Red Cross
I
has
hear
also
that.
been going around asking anyone if they were affected and where the Red Cross
Wait,
is
let's
also
start with Carrie's lying ass again. Hold up, Carrie. Stop. Wait.
Right
Okay,
next to
go back
Dunkin'
to lying.
Donuts.
All right, go. Start your lies.
And everyone just started screaming. My mom told me to back up, back up, back up.
The mayor says there is shelter at the Samuel Fells High School. The Red Cross has also been going around asking anyone if they were affected and where.
It's 5 minutes in. They're literally still on scene. Why is shelter being set up? They're making this into like it was a hurricane that just hit. You see, this is the sappy stuff.
Back up.
The mayor says there is
North Philadelphia, born and raised.
Shelter at the Samuel Fells High School. The Red Cross has also been going around asking anyone if they.
The Red Cross is going around, bitch.
Were affected and where they can get help. I do want to highlight that many of the stories I've been hearing are neighbors helping neighbors.
Curiously, it didn't hit a house. It didn't hit a house. People's houses were shaken and all that. We have no reports of anybody's house being hit. So why would people need shelter, everybody? Why is the Red Cross going around to see if people, come on. I can't. This is to make this into more of an event. And I'm suggesting to you that part of this is being used to draw attention from DC. This is more dramatic. We've got fireballs. We've got fire in the street. We've got a piece of the plane. I mean, there's way more action here, if you will. So quick, let's turn it to Philly.
I do want to highlight that many of the stories I've been hearing are neighbors helping.
Many of the stories I've been hearing. This is within moments of this happening, everybody. This isn't like, this is still like when it's, like this is when stuff is still developing. Many of the people you've talked to, bitch, you just talked to one person on the street. Where's the crowd that was around you from all the people you talked to? What, did Carrie go canvassing the neighborhood door by door? Did she do that? Was she canvassing? Was she canvassing?
I do want to highlight that many of the stories I've been hearing are neighbors helping neighbors. This community came together in times
of
tragedy.
In times of tragedy. It's such a fucking... Wow. Is this is this after the fact now, bitch? What, I mean, all right, Carrie, get off the damn mic.
Yuki?
Neighbors helping neighbors. Carrie, thank you so much.
Neighbors helping neighbors. What do they do? What do they do? We just saw one couple run back into the house when the shit blew up. You feel me? Even when I showed you the end of the days video, people aren't, they just, where's the unity? I can't.
Well, you're reporting tonight. CBS News Philadelphia, Siapo Lewis is also at the scene. Siapo, what can you tell us?
All right, Siapo.
Yuki, we are here at Cotman and Bustleton, and such a surreal, horrible, tragic evening. When we first joined you tonight...
Now, he'll stand up there. It's a real horrible and tragic evening, but his first name is Siafa. So we know, this is what makes me sick. Africans, under the sound of my voice, no one loves you more than me. Wallahi. No one loves you more than me. Stop trying to be African American when you come here and hiding your Africanness. And then you break out all of a sudden. You feel me? I don't like that. I don't. I'm sure Siafa is an accomplished journalism major and all of that. And has probably been doing this for many years, etc., etc. But he's definitely African. I promise you that. But he's one of these hiding Africans. They need to come out because we have more Africans here than we're aware of, everybody. That's important. Every time I turn around, like especially when I was trying to research so I could move to Africa, how many people I see, it's always some person like that don't even come off as African. Oh yeah, I'm part Nigerian. My dad's Nigerian. My mom. The fuck? What? Stop hiding. Damn it. I'm sick and tired of it.
News Philadelphia Siafa Lewis is also at the scene. Siafa, what can you tell us?
Yuki, we are here at Cotman and Bustleton, and such a surreal, horrible, tragic evening. When we first joined you tonight, shortly after 7 o'clock, the scene behind me was quite different. There was just a tremendous amount of fire trucks out here. The police presence was much greater than it is now. Obviously, things have died down substantially right now. One thing that I was struck by listening to Carrie and listening to all of the coverage tonight, the amount of people who asked me whether or not this was a terror attack. One person actually even asked me if the plane intentionally hit that house. Obviously, the investigation is ongoing. We do not believe that to be the case, but just something about the sign of the times that we live in. But we did speak to several people tonight. Here is one of them.
We were just driving around and came through the clouds pretty much just out of nowhere, and it just dive bombed straight to the ground. It was pretty crazy. Yeah, it was, it just lit up, big mushroom cloud that you can see for a couple of seconds. Obviously, it caused a lot of damage. There's a lot of cops here and everything like that. But yeah, it's just out of this world, you know what I mean? You don't see that every day.
Thankfully, we do not see that every day. Another woman I spoke to mentioned the fact that the sky lit up, and she did not know that it was caused by a plane crash. So she was looking out and saying, oh, the sky looks so beautiful tonight. Of course, we now know that there was nothing beautiful about it. That sadly, Yuki, we'll send it back to you from here in the Northeast.
All right, Siafa, and thank you and your crew for your hustle tonight. Also, this Gustavo Chavez, Mr. Gustavo Chavez, who lives in the area, shared this video before any first...
Appreciate how you slipped that in for your hustle tonight. Appreciate that. You feel me? Keep it black.
Siafa, and thank you and your crew for your hustle tonight. Also, this Gustavo Chavez, Mr. Gustavo Chavez, who lives in the area, shared this video before any first responders got on
North Philadelphia, ain't no black people in North Philadelphia? I don't remember now what part of Philly the black folks is mostly populated in. I don't remember. That East Philadelphia? I don't know.
Scene just moments after the jet crashed along Cotman Avenue.
And wait, the Fresh Prince, is he North Philadelphia or West Philadelphia? West Philadelphia, born and raised. North Philadelphia, what is fuck? I wrote the damn thing and I can't remember it. All right, don't type anything. I wrote it. That's all you need to know. Theme to the Fresh Prince. Damn it. Theme to the Fresh Prince lyrics. We're gonna find out. Now, this is a story about how my life got flipped, turned upside down. West Philadelphia, born and raised. On the playground is where I spent most of my days. Yep, West Philadelphia. All right, strike that from the record, Your Honor. Again, counsel didn't have time to prepare for this motion, and so we would ask the court's patience on this matter.
This Gustavo Chavez, Mr. Gustavo Chavez, who lives in the area, shared this video before any first responders got on the scene just moments after the jet crashed along Cotman Avenue. Look at the video. Some neighbors there describing this, once again, as a hell on earth. Now, when the call came, federal, state, and local authorities rushed to help. And the governor says the Commonwealth is behind Northeast Philadelphia 110%. Our Josh Sanders is at the scene where we heard from the governor and the mayor within the last hour or so. Josh?
And there's a black mayor, y'all. Again, we got black people. We got black mayors. We got black police chiefs. You understand? We have black majority city councils. We should have taken this bitch over a long fucking time ago. A long time ago. You got a black mayor in Philly. We should never hear about a fucking police shooting in Philly. Ever. Then Michael Nutter was mayor there for the longest time. Another black mayor. You understand? So, again, we have to have black people in position that do not fucking like white people. Or at the very least, understand that fuck them and promote us. You understand? Because that's what everybody else does. Everybody. I'm not mad. We got to do the same shit. We the only simple ass motherfuckers that don't do the shit. The only ones. The only ones.
Hey, good evening, Yuki. Yeah, it's a tragic story that continues to unfold 5 hours later. We are on the other side of Roosevelt Boulevard from where Siafa was. We just talked to Siafa Lewis. You could see the Macy's behind me, and obviously an all hands on deck mission right now to determine what happened, what occurred, and this plane crashing here in Northeast Philly, those 6 souls on board, and right now we don't know how many.
Where's the engines of the plane, everybody? Engines don't end up in little tiny pieces. There's certain parts of airplanes, I don't give a fuck what happened, you're going to have those pieces available. You understand what I'm telling you? Where is the engines of this airplane? I'm going to need to see that. I'm just going to need it. Where are the engines? Where are they? Where's the landing? Show me a tire. Show me landing gear. This is shit that always is available. Landing gear and engines. Was this a prop plane? You want to tell me it was a prop? Okay, but still I'm going to have an engine. What type of damn airplane was this? They're giving you everything, Moses and the damn disciples. What type of plane is it?
People impacted on the ground, but we did hear from Mayor Sherelle Parker.
And by the way, I was trying to come with this last night, y'all. Like as soon as I found out about it, but for some reason, this damn new webcam is acting up. I don't know what's happening now. I couldn't even get any audio out of it. Then it was, I don't want to get into it. I'll just get worked up.
And Governor Josh Shapiro, Mayor Sherelle Parker saying that right now there's little information known, but they wanted to make sure that.
And this mayor's name is Sherelle Parker. That will always stay because the name Sherelle is the name of the sister that I very first ever kissed in my life. Sherelle Freeman. So Sherelle's ass with a bad wig out. Well, we're going to see her. The sister's going to tell me if that's a wig or not. In fact, we can go to her now because I don't think there's anything else exculpatory from this report. Well, let's see now. Well, wait, there's some things
they got the appropriate information out, and she did share that those impacted here.
School 5500.
I want you to take a listen to what she had to say along with Governor Josh Shapiro.
Now, the sister's going to tell me if that's a wig or not.
Samuel Fells High School, 5500 Langdon Street. If anyone has been impacted and you need shelter and support.
I do love the way she talks, though. She has struggle in her voice, and we've got to get this, and such like she has that real struggle in her voice. Just if you don't know what I'm trying to say, everybody, like for instance, Lauryn Hill has that thing too. She always, anytime Lauryn Hill speaks, it's like she's leading like we're organizing some kind of a movement, like something like when she got her Grammy for Miseducation, Lauryn Hill, she was like, I just want to say, this is hip hop music, and this is nothing but God, because it just sounds like they planning the revolution. You feel me? That's what I'm trying to say. I think, I love it, and this sister has some of that in her. She's got some of that too.
Samuel Fells High School, 5500 Langdon Street.
Listen.
If anyone has been impacted and you need shelter and support, it is readily available for you.
The mayor preaches about one Philly. She talks about a unified approach to governing every day. What you're seeing here is a unified response to an
We don't want to hear this.
Aviation.
This means nothing. This is just agencies get up there, kiss your ass, and like, you guys are amazing and you're amazing, and to show off to the public. which I think there's a place for that. We need to know about our first responders and people like that. Like, we should be more intimately aware of them and who they are. Like, I think people should visit police stations and fire stations and talk to them and like, who are they and stuff. Like, we only see them when flashing lights are going someplace and you're being told to stay back. We don't really know these people. They're kind of like a whole population that's kind of a ghost that we see and depend on, but we don't know them at all, you know. But usually, even in cases like this, it's just the mayor and the governor, and here they come, and then you may get the fire chief and maybe the police chief, but we don't really know the people. These people keep they're an indispensable part of the society, man. And we don't know them. Listen, when I was a kid, I remember we had field trips to the fire station. Allahu Akbar, I just remembered that. Wow. We used to have field trips to the fire station. You go to the fire station, meet the firemen, man. Yeah. I doubt they even do that anymore. You know? But it made you have a relationship. Understand that that's part of your community. That's part of you. That's, you know what I mean? Like, that needs to be promoted. You understand? That needs to be promoted. But these politicians get up here with all this, we don't really need them. So, what else? All right, let me go to this other report. Let me see what she's saying about this piece of airplane. That's what I'm trying to see if they're going to say more about this airplane.
Disaster.
Wait.
Out for one another. Governor Josh Shapiro has been in touch with resources as they continue to determine what happened here.
President Trump posted on Truth Social tonight, "So sad to see the plane go down in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. More innocent souls
We don't know that
lost.
It was a plane. That's my
Our
whole
people
charge.
are totally engaged. First responders are already being given credit for doing a great job. More to follow. God bless you all." Images tonight are starting to cap.
Look at that, even that picture. Wait. Let's isolate that. Does that look like a single, small airplane crash, everybody? And I'm going to say this. It doesn't. That's why they are not telling us what type of airplane it is. If it's a medical transport airplane, then that means that's a company. They have more than one airplane. Or if you won't even tell me they have one, I'll hear it. But you're deliberately not, this is a glaring detail. Why are you telling us what type of airplane it was? Where is even one shot of an engine or landing gear? I'm going to need that. I'm going to need that. And right now we don't have it. We don't have it. We don't have it.
Great job. More to follow. God bless you all. Images tonight are starting to capture the devastation of what happened. Alicia Roberts continues our coverage now. She's in our newsroom. Alicia?
Now, Alicia is in the newsroom, so we know she's a lying whore. This is how they do it. They take you out to the field, then they bring you back to some anchor that's not in the field with the overdressed rain jacket and the hat like Carrie was trying to give. You understand? So this is now the lying whore.
Yuki, good evening. We know the medical plane that crashed was carrying 6 people.
We know, was her opening statement. We know, after she greets him. We know. So, bitch, now you're going to tell me what type of airplane it was with all this knowing that you have. Let's just listen to, what's the bitch name?
Yuki, good
Alicia.
evening. We know the medical...
Yeah, the bitch name is Alicia, too. That's always suspect, too. Be careful of all names Alicia.
Of what happened. Alicia Roberts continues our coverage now. She's in our newsroom. Alicia?
Yuki, good evening. We know the medical plane that crashed was carrying 6 people. This image shows part of the plane broken and scattered that fell...
No. No. That one piece of airplane, we're to believe, came out of the fireball unscathed, everybody. This is what we're supposed to believe. This is what we're supposed to believe from Alicia with
crash
that
was carrying 6
Sphinx nose. And I don't mean the Egyptian Sphinx.
people. This image shows part of the plane broken and scattered that fell near the Roosevelt Mall. It is a daunting reality when you realize those on board were seeking to give and receive life-saving care as this tragedy happened. The second image shows debris that scattered for blocks and blocks, just the chaos of it all. The fire from
blocks and blocks, said Alicia. Hear that language, everybody.
And receive life-saving care as this tragedy happened. The second image shows debris that scattered for blocks and blocks, just the chaos of it all. The fire from that crash also impacted several nearby row homes. Growing up in the area, you know how densely populated this Northeast region is and how this will forever change this community as neighbors who saw this.
No, those are deceptive. She said affected row homes. There's no reports of any homes being on fire, everybody. That's an image from behind the building, with that the building is between us and the explosion.
Chaos of it all. The fire from that crash.
There. That it's on the other side. That's not the building on fire at all, but that's what they're trying to represent to give you more drama and ooh of it all.
Blocks, just the chaos of it all.
The chaos of it all. You see the cadence of her speech there? Listen, these people, their whole job is to speak. They're very acquainted with language and the use of language. So when they speak, you have to listen to what they say and how they say. And what words are they using to say it.
As this tragedy happened, the second image shows
this tragedy happened.
Debris that scattered for blocks and blocks.
Scattered for blocks and blocks and blocks.
Just the chaos of
it.
The
chaos of it all, said Alicia.
Here, as this tragedy happened, the second image shows debris that scattered for blocks and blocks. Just the chaos of it all. The fire from that crash also impacted several nearby row homes.
Impacted. You see, she's careful with the language there. Because if it was on fire, that would be their story. They would definitely make that part of it. Impacted. That's vague and ambiguous. You understand?
The fire from that crash also impacted several nearby row homes. Growing up in the area, you know how densely populated this Northeast region is and how this will forever change this community as neighbors who saw the smoke nearby could only stand back and watch in disbelief. And Yuki, tonight, as more images continue to come out, the enormity of this disaster is just beginning to take shape with still so many questions to be
answered. Tone, Yuki is still coming out as this investigation still continues. You think she talks like that? Honey, I need you to go in the closet and get my negligee out and make sure you get my Ferragamo heels. We're going to the Johnson's party tonight for wine and cheese. That's not how the bitch speak. This is deliberate, everybody. This is theatrical speak.
Who saw the smoke nearby
Hear that.
could only stand back and watch.
This is part of the seduction of the report. The seduction of the report. Hear it, hear it, hear it. Use everything Allah has given you.
This will forever change this community as neighbors who saw the smoke nearby could only stand back and watch in disbelief. And Yuki, tonight, as more images continue to come out, the enormity of this disaster is just beginning to take shape. With still so many.
As more images come out, it's just beginning to take shape. So that you watch our coverage ongoing and stay glued to our coverage so we can make these advertising dollars.
Images continue to come out. The enormity of this disaster is just beginning to take shape with still so many questions to be answered.
With still so many questions to be answered, said Alicia with her fake blonde hair. That's got a lot of split ends, and the bitch is going to be bald within a year. But I don't want to get into that. I'm over it. There's a couple other things I thought would be noteworthy, everybody. Let's go to that now. I have 2 or 3, I think. This is in relations to the DC incident. This is more evidence now. And particularly with regard to this helicopter and the shroud of mystery that surrounds it. Hear this now.
This helicopter crash story in DC just got so weird. I am getting unconfirmed reports that people have tracked the helicopter coming from a CIA head.
Audio from Reagan Airport confirms American Airlines was cleared to land with authorities warned the Black Hawk of incoming traffic shortly before the collision occurred. 3 soldiers were aboard the Black Hawk, but no senior U.S. officials were present. The military helicopter was found upside down, nearly fully submerged. Well, it wasn't nearly fully submerged because I kept highlighting in my first piece that I did on the DC thing, kept highlighting and going back when they kept telling us the water was waist deep. No helicopter or plane is going to be submerged in waist deep water. So throw that out. It was nearly fully submerged. I'm over it.
Headquarters, okay? That's one. I'm about to show you what happened on our live stream, though. They were interviewing a witness to the crash. He started talking about strange white lights in the sky. They cut the interview. Check it out now. Let me know what you think. I think some orbs may have been involved in this.
This I don't necessarily believe, but I thought, why not? Let's just at least entertain it.
This is allegedly. Here's the video. You're a legend for that. Thank you, my friend. Yo, what up, Zach?
And we noticed the planes started having regular patterns, and they all kind of dispersed from their regular landing patterns. And then we looked up in the sky. Before that, we saw these white flare. What do you think when you saw these white flares? We didn't think much of it. We thought they were like shooting stars. I don't know. I couldn't really explain it, but we didn't really think much of it until we saw the fire truck start going up.
They cut him off! Bro! We got that recorded. This auto records. They just cut him off. Holy fuck.
Response, a mass casualty response, as it were, across the Potomac.
Did anyone just pick up on that? They just cut that interview off when he started talking about white orbs.
Well, he said flares, to be clear. I don't know. I thought that would be important just to log that so we have that, because that'll be a puzzle piece. Maybe it goes someplace, maybe it doesn't. Let's go on.
Guys, remember that black
helicopter crash, American Airlines U.S. official assassinated.
Guys, remember that Black Hawk helicopter? Remember yesterday it crashed? Well, there were 3 people on it. 3 people. You know what they said? They told us 2 of the deaths, not the 3rd. Who?
Remember, I kept saying that.
Guys, remember that Black Hawk helicopter? Remember yesterday it crashed? Well, there were 3 people on it. 3 people. You know what they said? They told us 2 of the deaths, not the 3rd. Who was the 3rd one? The Pat sign. What does that mean? It means that there was a senior U.S. official on that helicopter. Who was it? What did they do? Why is he dead? Why did they take a regular domestic airline and do it? How do you feel?
And also, remember the call sign on the helicopter was PAT something, everybody. And I don't know where I put the clip now, but I'll find it. Because I got some other stuff I need to show you. Because it stands for Priority Air Transport or something like that.
Guys, remember that Black Hawk helicopter? Remember yesterday it crashed? Well, there were 3 people on it. 3 people. You know what they said? They told us 2 of the deaths, not the 3rd. Who was the 3rd one? The Pat sign. What does that mean? It means that there was a senior U.S. official on that helicopter. Who was it? What did they do? Why is he dead? Why did they take a regular domestic airline and do it? How do you feel about what happened? It's fucking horrible. Sad situation. But it's not just sad, it's corrupt. There's something fucking wrong here. The deep state, someone. Guys, we have to share this. The more people that know about it, the more people that are involved, okay, everyone here has to help. Because if we don't have awareness, it could be your brother, your son, your mother, your father on that plane. It could be you. And I'm not just saying that. More plane crashes this year than any other year in the last 2 decades. So, share this with your friends and ask yourself that question. Who was the 3rd person on that helicopter that they refused to identify? Who were they? What did they know? What were they going to do? Who are they going to expose?
Okay, let's move on. This one's saying second plane had near miss with helicopter in DC just one day before the crash. And I have confirmed that, everybody, because I saw another video where they showed the flight pattern from the FAA and the audio that another plane almost had the same issue 24 hours before. The plane had to immediately pull up and go around. It was a whole thing. I've confirmed that. So let's hear what he's saying now.
Folks, we've got a really concerning update coming in right now. So apparently less than 24 hours before that American Airlines passenger jet and that military helicopter collided near Reagan International Airport, there was a near miss, like a similar incident almost happened at the same location. Let me explain.
Okay, before you explain, I'm gonna need you to maybe get some more blood circulation because I'm getting corpse vibes. I'm just getting corpse vibes. All right, nurse. All right, nurse. They may have to call the airlift because I'm feeling queasy. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. I don't know. Help me. So let's go on.
Morning update coming in right now. So apparently less than 24 hours before that American Airlines passenger jet and that military helicopter collided near Reagan International Airport, there was a near miss, like a similar incident almost happened at the same location. Let me explain. Apparently, Republic Airways Flight 4514 had to abort its landing and reroute because a helicopter was in its way as it approached the airport on Tuesday. The plane, which was inbound from Connecticut, had to dramatically increase altitude at the last second in order to avoid a collision with a helicopter that was hanging out near the airport. Thankfully, on its second approach to the runway, that plane was able to land safely. New audio from air traffic control related to that flight has now been released confirming that this occurred. This raises even more questions about the way Donald Trump has handled this entire incident, the way his Department of Defense is flying these helicopters so close to the airports, and his refusal to take any responsibility.
I love how he's speaking in terms of blaming it all on Trump, because that's what the fuck they do. So yes, blame him for it. Damn it! I just stumped my toe. It's Trump. Trump. It's his fault. It's the Trump. It's the Trump regime. It's their fault. You see. My heat was up too high last night. Damn that Trump regime. You see? So, what's good for the goose?
Refusal to take any responsibility. Trump continues to try to deflect from the fact that he got rid of a key aviation board, that him and Elon Musk forced out the head of the FAA just right after his inauguration.
Right, literally on January 20th.
Because he fined Elon Musk something like $600,000 for safety violations from...
By the way, I'm going to be doing a whole piece on Elon Musk because I've never done a piece on his SpaceX, and the claim I'm bringing is that all that shit is fake, all of it, all of his rockets that can land back where they took off and shit, and all that. None of that's real. All that is CGI cartoon bullshit. It just is, and I've just been astonished that no one has. I haven't seen anything where anybody's even making this claim. So I thought, well, you're going to have to do it then. Like, I can't be the only person to know that's some bullshit. I can't be. Damn.
That him and Elon Musk forced out the head of the FAA just right after his inauguration because he fined Elon Musk something like $600,000 for safety violations from SpaceX. All of his actions right now are coming under scrutiny because they clearly seem like they made our country far less safe. We're going to be following all this news and much more, so make sure you're following us right now so you get...
Okay. All right, now I want to bring in some of these Black Hawk pilots who are letting it be known this is some bullshit. This is clearly the pilot error. There's nothing else to see here. Nothing. We can all go home. Before we go on, everybody, I want you to know that there's a report that I just saw where they say it was a Learjet 55. This, boys and girls, is a Learjet 55. And they want us to believe now that that is what we saw crash in Philadelphia. Where's these engines? Where they at? Where's any of this landing gear? I'm going to need it. A Learjet 55. But more importantly, you don't see anything on this plane that looks like that piece of airplane that was in the parking lot. As far as, you know, what it could have come from type thing. But let's hear the report.
To follow breaking news on the crash of a medical jet in Northeast Philadelphia.
A Learjet 55 went down shortly after 6 o'clock.
A Learjet 55, boys and girls. Hear it again.
A Learjet 55 went down shortly after 6 o'clock last night after departing from Northeast Philadelphia Airport with 6 people on board. Ring camera footage shows the plane descending before there is this massive explosion. A large fire burned in the wake of the crash, prompting a significant response from emergency crews. Vehicles in this area could be seen on fire. Police said multiple people on the ground were...
Look at the how widespread the fire is, though, to everybody. You know, I mean, it's just, and then they just happen to not hit any homes and happen to land in the intersection. I can't.
A significant response from emergency crews.
Look.
Vehicles in this area could be seen on fire. Police said multiple people on the ground were hurt, and we had a chance to speak with witnesses who detailed what they saw in the aftermath.
Fireball, there was debris everywhere. There was people running back and forth. There was so much stuff happening at once.
And it was just very graphic.
Right now, there is no word on what caused the jet to go down. There are multiple investigations, though, that are currently underway. The NTSB will have boots on the ground today to determine the cause of this crash. Chopper 6 was over the scene earlier this morning. It's live over the scene right now as the NTSB and the FBI.
They're over the scene. What do we see? We don't see anything that looks like an airplane.
Have arrived there to begin their investigation.
Where's the engines? Where's the landing gear? Show me a wing.
And you can see, as we've talked about this morning, just debris scattered all over the road right here. You can see pieces of the plane actually.
Can we really?
On this street right here.
Remember the kid said it was next to Dunkin' Donuts. There's the Dunkin' Donuts. And his mom told him to do something, run or something, I don't know.
By all these businesses, these homes where there is so much traffic, it just is a very different scene than what we're used to seeing in this part of Northeast Philadelphia.
Right, and it is so jarring, as you mentioned earlier in the show, Caroline, to see some of these vehicles that were just stopped in place a moment in
I still don't have an engine.
time when you...
I still don't have landing gear. I don't have anything. I don't have anything.
Hear that massive crash and then see this fireball erupt into the sky.
This, we don't know if that's from the plane or what, but it's got some kind of lettering on it. What I mean, I don't...
We see both stop vehicles that look like they're parked and then other vehicles that are completely burned out. And you have to wonder about the...
Right, and for all the burning, why is the street not burned?
I'm going to begin with Action News reporter
Wait,
Rebecca Hendrickson.
Where the street isn't
FBI
charred.
have arrived there to begin
For all
their
the fire and cars are on fire and oh my God, it's Armageddon. We saw fire. Why isn't the street burned?
Go down. There are multiple investigations, though, that are currently underway.
Look.
The NTSB will have boots on the ground today to determine the
Go,
cause
bitch.
of this crash.
There.
Chopper 6 was over the scene earlier this
Where's the charring?
morning. It's live over the scene right now as the NTSB and the FBI have arrived there to begin their investigation. And you can see as
Where's a seat that was on the plane? Where are the seats at, everybody? Show me something. Where is anything that would let me know this is an airplane?
as we've talked about this morning, just debris scattered all over the road right here. You can see pieces of the plane actually on this street right here.
And as I say, the most glaring thing, for all the fires we've seen, we've got no charring. The street is not burned at all.
By all these businesses, these homes where there is so much traffic, it just is a very different scene than what we're used to seeing in this part of Northeast Philadelphia.
Right, and it is so jarring, as you mentioned earlier in the show, Caroline, to see some of these vehicles that were just stopped in place a moment in time when you hear that massive crash and then see this fireball erupt into the sky. We see both stopped vehicles that look like they're...
How come the street isn't wet from the firefighters putting out fire? I mean, there's things that are missing.
Parked, and then other vehicles that are completely burned out, and you have to wonder about the victims that are also on the ground. We know that there are 6 people who are deceased who were on board that jet, that medical jet that was returning to Mexico from
Show me a
Shriners.
seat.
But we also know that there were 6 people on the ground thus far that we've heard taken to Temple Jeans for treatment. 3 of them remain there for treatment. 3 others were treated and released.
There's a lot of questions right now, and obviously
I just don't have an
investigators are working to get
airplane.
to the bottom of what happened and how many people exactly are injured in the aftermath of this plane crash. We are expecting to hear from investigators and from city officials any moment now, but as we continue to do so, we're going to continue to follow this breaking news. And we have some team coverage from the scene this morning. We're going to begin with Action News reporter Rebecca Hendrickson. She is live along Cotman Avenue with the very latest for us. Becca?
Caroline, I'm really just a quarter mile only from where this massive accident happened. We're waiting on this press conference. We've seen more investigators come flooding into the scene this morning. They're still getting a grip on the breadth of this and exactly what happened. You can see in the distance all those police cars coming in. We just saw more PennDOT vehicles coming in as well. Plenty of investigators from different agencies, the FBI, the NTSB, the FAA, all here or expected to be here to get to the bottom of this. And we have to look at this video from Ring camera, neighbor surveillance picking up that fireball, that moment that the plane fell out of the sky, crashing into this busy area of Northeast Philadelphia. We know there are houses, businesses, plenty of cars around, obviously, at this time of the day during rush hour. The impact, we're really only...
Notice, everybody. Notice this now. Watch very closely. Notice that the street lights go off and come back on.
Northeast Philadelphia. We know there are houses, business.
Watch now. I don't know if you can see my cursor because the cursor is bigger when I'm recording, but when I see the playback, it's small. Like you could barely see it, but if you could see how big it is when I'm looking at it, you'd be like, oh, why can't we see that? But I want you to look at these street lamps. You've got these ones on the left and on the right. Watch the street lamps. They're on. But also you want to watch the light that's that hits the ground, because that's proof that they actually go off.
There's plenty of cars.
See them? They're on.
Around, obviously, at...
And they're illuminating what's under them.
This time of the day during...
Now they go off. You see here on the left, they're off. And that's proven by what's under them is no longer illuminated. So it's not just like a camera effect. Those lights literally went off.
Rush hour,
you see the one on the right went off too. They're off now. I'll take it back so you could see it better. They're on.
And obviously at this time of the day during...
Now they're off. And this final one on the right will go off.
Rush hour.
They're off. The lights go off. And you'll see them come back on.
We're really only beginning to learn what that could be.
You see there? They came back on.
It happened.
See it again.
Cars around, obviously, at this time of the day during...
They're off.
Rush
the final
hour.
One on the right goes off. They're off.
The impact, we're really only
They're off.
beginning to learn...
Boom, they come back on. You see that?
What that could be. It happened.
The Jedi does his work.
Happened between 6 and 6:30 last night on Cotman near the boulevard. A medical transport plane with 6 people on board. That child who was in Philadelphia for treatment with her mother and 4 other crew members were aboard that plane. None of them are expected to have survived. That Learjet 55 had just left the airport a couple minutes before. It was on its way to...
Learjet 55, and I showed you what that looks like. So I'm gonna need at least one engine in this
Missouri
bitch.
before returning to Mexico. A medical rescue plane, that massive police response that it prompted, and that crater that it caused, that investigate.
You know, this is one of the other reasons why, too, you guys, why they give police qualified immunity, and why they cannot find a charge to charge them with when they've done something heinous, because police know stuff. You can't even be a police officer unless you're weak-minded and you are someone who goes along to get along. I could never be a part of these bureaucracies. Proof of that is back in the 1990s. My girlfriend at the time, Jasmine, was going to we worked at this communications company together, and she wanted to go and take the test for the LAPD. And I was taking her, so I was like, well, I'll just go in and take it with you. Why not? I had been in corrections for years before that. I went in, I passed. Sadly, Jasmine didn't pass, but I passed. Then after that, they send you before a board. Like, you get a notice to go before this board. And once they do the interview, then after that, you're supposed to go to the police academy. Well, I went before the board. There they are, all there with little stars on their collars and all the bullshit. And they interview you. The reason they end up giving that I wasn't approved for the academy is because my very, very, very first job that I got when I was 14, because then you could have a work permit and still work on the weekends and have limited hours during the week. I worked at a fast food place here in California, and I had been fired after 3.5 years of being there. Ended up suing them, the whole thing, but because I had been fired from that, they went back, and at that time, that was like 7 years before now that I'm sitting before this panel, and they took that as the reason why I wasn't eligible when I was just a dumb teenager. Well, I was never dumb, but we'll just say that. And they used that. You see, but I always knew that they didn't approve me for the academy because these people are very seasoned at understanding who's sitting before them. And they knew who I was. They could tell that's not going to be somebody who's going to go along and get along. He has a strong mind and a strong will. This won't work. Quick, find something we can refuse him on. And that's what it was. So, police hold a lot of information. So I mention that because in this case, these first responders are there to see what really happened. They know what evidence they're finding and things that are, they know stuff. And they hold all of that. We don't get to know nothing.
That massive police response that it prompted, and that crater that it caused, that investigators are now looking into. And take a look at this picture. We found this, what we believe to be, appears to be an oxygen tank near us, again, a quarter mile away from the...
Okay, that's some bullshit. I'm calling bullshit, because if you want to tell me it's empty, okay, I'll hear it. Because an oxygen tank would have blown up. If not from the fire, it would have blown up from the impact. You understand? So that is suspicious to me. You find an oxygen tank, but you can't show me an engine. You can't show me landing gear. You don't have it? Yeah, I can't.
Are now looking into. And take a look at this picture. We found this, what we believe to be, appears to be an oxygen tank.
Just nicely tucked up against the curb. It's not burnt. It's not charred. No issues.
Near us, again, a quarter mile away from the plane crash. That shows you just how far it was scattering. That was on the ground on Cottman Avenue. Investigators are aware of that, of course, and they tell me that there's another tank a couple feet away from where I am too. And then this surveillance video also showing just how widespread this was going. This piece of the plane that flew through a window at Four Seasons Diner, and it hit a man in there. I am told that he is okay following being hit by a piece of this plane.
Wow.
What I couldn't believe first. I want my friend to repeat it again. I said, what? There was a plane crash? He says, yeah. So when I came inside, I got more information from my friends.
And that's a worker at Four Seasons Diner who had just gotten to work a couple minutes after a customer was hit by a piece of the plane. He's been monitoring the situation in the diner there, which I should add is open this morning, despite this massive investigation happening here at Cottman and the Boulevard. We will, of course, bring you the latest information when investigators are able to speak with us here live in Northeast Philadelphia. Becca Hendrickson, Channel 6 Action News. Maggie and Caroline.
Becca, thank you for that report. You know, as she mentioned, the flood of investigators continues this morning. We went ahead to Action News reporter Corey Davis. He's also live on scene where daylight now allows these investigators to really get a better picture of the debris field, which is massive.
And they have a large task ahead of them when it comes to trying to conduct this massive investigation. The expansive debris scene, debris field here where we are along Cottman Avenue. We're at the intersection.
This expansive debris field with no engines or landing gear. Go on.
Of Bustleton. This is right next to the Roosevelt Mall. Such a really busy area. Just debris scattered all along here right now.
That's our first charred car.
Incinerated cars as well. People were just stuck in traffic during the peak of rush hour yesterday when that plane went down, followed by an explosion and people reportedly seeing a fireball into the sky. I want to give you a look there at some additional video too. We do know that people were just going about their everyday lives when this happened. First-hand accounts and descriptions that we've been getting are about people hearing the explosion and then seeing debris just falling from the sky and falling onto everything. People, the cars, the businesses out there as well. We also know that there were people at restaurants, they were shopping, they were at the drive-thrus, and take a listen to what they heard when they were doing all of that.
It was like a boom. We all stepped back, and it was real crazy. It was like real bright.
I ain't seen no black folks yet.
I definitely saw debris falling. There's all over Cottman. And, I mean, I was scared to run in, but at that point, you can't get scared.
Yeah, and he did run in, and he said that he saw a woman who was in distress and is hoping that she was treated and somehow pulled through what she was going through at that moment right after the plane crashed out here. So as Becca was saying earlier, we have seen a number of investigators. I've seen FBI agents, NTSB officials as well, local police and fire, and a number of medical examiner vans are showing up too as they prepare to stage on this side of the scene as well. So we will definitely stay on top of this. It's very active and it will continue. They have a long way to go when it comes to sorting all of this out. Reporting live here in Northeast Philadelphia, Corey Davis, Channel 6 Action News.
Definitely a lengthy investigation that is about to get underway there. And we're learning more this morning, thank you, Corey, about the victim. Shriners Children's Hospital of Philadelphia confirmed that their patient was on that medical jet that crashed.
We learned 6 people were all on board that plane.
Shriners, everybody. Shriners.
Those victims are Mexican nationals. Mexico's president says the consulate is in touch with each of the victims' families now. There was a child patient, her mother, and 4 crew members. They were in Philadelphia for transportation after medical treatment at Shriners Children's Hospital.
The jet was headed for a stop in Missouri as part of its trip back to Mexico when this disaster occurred just minutes.
Okay. So it's going to stop in Missouri as a part of its journey back to Mexico. So now we've cleared up what Carrie was saying.
Into the flight. We talked with a spokesperson from the hospital where they care for children from all over the world.
Well, I think we're all still in shock. I think that, our patient ended her care at our facility today and had a send off by the team there. And I think we're all still just beginning to process, how something so tragic could have happened. And just the devastation of all of this, I think hasn't even really started to
We're going to
sink
move
in.
on. This is now what I was telling you. I wanted to bring you a couple pieces of pilots and experts that were saying it was the fault of the helicopter, that they weren't where they were supposed to be. They shouldn't have been there. Go.
Let's get some analysis. I'm joined by Sky News aviation expert Captain Byron Bailey. Byron, you've been looking at the flight path of the helicopter. Tell us what you've found in regards to the altitude of the helicopter.
Okay, there's a frequent helicopter traffic from the north to pass through that whole area, past the airfield, to the military base in south, and they fly a route along the river below 200 feet. The maximum permitted altitude is 200 feet, and it's a visual flight at night.
Maximum permitted altitude is 200 feet, and it's a visual flight. Say it again, whatever his name is that I can't remember.
Maximum permitted altitude is 200 feet, and it's a visual flight at night. We watched the readouts from the radar, and about 30 seconds before the impact, they were actually at 200 feet. And then shortly after, the chopper was at 300 feet. By chopper, I mean helicopter. And just before the collision, where the airliner is turning, he's on short final at 400 feet, about a mile or so from the runway, and the pilots would have been just concentrating on the landing straight ahead and wouldn't have even been aware of the chopper. The chopper actually rose to 350 feet, and that was the last indication before the collision. The helicopter at 350 feet, and he shouldn't have been there. He should have been at 200, and the airliner at 400 feet. So they won't need the black boxes to work this one out. This is cut and dried, really. The military guy shouldn't have been that high.
Boom. They don't need the black boxes for this. They don't need the black boxes. The military guy shouldn't have been there. That's essentially parallel to what I was claiming in the piece that I did on that incident. That they're trying to make it all ambiguous and we don't know and we have to wait for the investigation. Nah. This plane was on final approach. They were exactly where they were supposed to be doing. They were exactly where they were supposed to be, doing everything they were supposed to be doing perfectly. Out of nowhere comes this damn helicopter. You understand? That's the end of it. That's who's liable. That's the cause of it. Nothing else. I don't think we need anything else from him. Do I need anything else? Let me see.
So speculation as to why he was above that permitted altitude. Should that have been picked up by the air traffic control, Byron?
You see, fuck the reporter, because should that have been, like, just to make it the air traffic controller's fault. I've proven and shown in my first piece that there's a concerted effort between the media and the government to try to make this an issue about the air traffic controllers, everybody. Throw that out. As Byron just said, that should have been in the report. He goes, but why was he there? Would this have been, because he's trying to steer it back around to somehow be the fault of the fucking air traffic controllers. It's not. We're over it. Let's go to the next piece.
So I want to bring in Elizabeth McCormick, a former Black Hawk helicopter pilot, and Cedric Layton, CNN military analyst and retired Air Force colonel. Elizabeth, let me start with you. An Army pilot who has flown Black Hawk helicopters, like you, in this area around Reagan National Airport, told CNN's reporter Haley Pritsky that the Army's flights are routinely planned down to the tiniest detail. This pilot said that based on the risk, the briefer will approve or disapprove parts of the flight plan. That assessment is then run by the unit's commander, then submitted to the FAA. So if it went through all of those levels, the question, of course, is just how could this have happened?
Well, I believe there's three things that happened. If it had just been one, it wouldn't have been an issue, but three different things happened. First of all, they only had a crew of 3. And if you're flying a visual flight plan in a crowded airspace like this, they really should have had 2 crew chiefs in the back of the helicopter to clear each side, as the pilots only have visibility from straight ahead 12 to 3 o'clock, or 12 from 9 o'clock to 12 o'clock. So you only have visibility of the front 180 degrees. Your crew chiefs clear the back. If you only have 1 crew chief, how much can you clear? I think that was a major issue.
So
and
that's
so
interesting.
As the, yeah, go ahead.
Keep going. Well, so are you saying instead of a crew of 3, it should have been a crew of 4? How many people should have been on the helicopter? And then please continue with your other 2 points.
Yes, so 3 is a minimum crew for a Black Hawk helicopter. In my opinion, when you're going into visual flight mode in a crowded airspace like this, it should be a minimum of 4. So you have a pilot on each side for visibility. That's the first one. The second one is whether they were on night vision goggles at that time or not, it is a very cluttered airspace with a lot of lighting and the lights reflecting on the river. And so with that, it's easy to kind of get a little disoriented as far as the height. They were supposed to be at 200 feet, which is the helicopter routing in that area, and it wouldn't have been a conflict, but they were not at 200 feet. Obviously, reportedly, the incident happened at around 350 to 400 feet as the airliner was descending. So that they were at the wrong height. So that's a pilot error. The first would be a policy error or choice. And then the third is air traffic control said, do you have the CRJ in sight? Well, there were two aircraft in their field of view, and actually only one was really obvious to them. And that was if you watch the video, the aircraft taking off in the foreground is probably the one they were facing, the pilots were facing, and said, yeah, I got it. The air traffic control should have said, do you have the aircraft at 5 o'clock? So they were looking at the rear. If they had done that, the Black Hawk is maneuverable. The Black Hawk could have moved out of the way quickly. They can move on a dime and make that happen. And it wouldn't have happened.
See there?
Cedric, that's
Black
one of the
Hawk
most
can move on a
informed
dime.
explanations I've heard of what possibly... Cedric, that's one of the most...
Have the aircraft at 5 o'clock. So they were looking at the rear. If they had done that, the Black Hawk is maneuverable. The Black Hawk could have moved out of the way quickly. They can move on a dime and make that happen. And it wouldn't have happened.
Cedric, that's one of the most informed explanations I've heard of what possibly went wrong.
And you see Jake Tapper's reaction is like, that's straight to the point, basically. Echoing what I've essentially been saying, all this roundabout talk, and we don't know, and it's so ambiguous, and we have to wait for the investigation. It's just all things are just unclear. Nah, we know exactly what happened. We know exactly what happened. You know, the why and the fine details. Okay, we don't know that, but we know the main stuff. We know what happened. Clearly, we know this airplane was on final approach, doing everything they were supposed to be doing perfectly, and the only thing that screwed it up was this damn helicopter coming out of nowhere. But as the Byron guy told us in the last clip that we just watched, that they were actually at the proper altitude, and then 30 seconds later they just suddenly they're higher than they were supposed to have been. It feels deliberate. It feels deliberate. It just feels deliberate. I don't think we need any more from this clip, actually. Yeah, I think we'll just hear a little bit more because I don't think we need any more. She's already said what we need.
Thank you so much for that. Do you agree with what you had to say?
Yeah, basically I do, Jake. Elizabeth has obviously a wealth of experience with this, and when you look at the way in which the crews are set up for Black Hawk helicopters, that's a critical thing. You know, you've got the mission planning piece that you mentioned, and as Elizabeth was explaining, there are also so many concerns that they have to really look at, including not only the weather and not only traffic considerations, but also what kind of things they can expect in terms of topographical features and things like that. And that should be a given. But there are things that change sometimes. Sometimes there's new construction and things like that. And so they have to have as much meticulous planning as possible. And if that planning isn't taken into consideration and isn't done in the right way, then of course there could be significant consequences. Not saying that happened here, of course.
Right. We don't know. We're just trying to make informed.
I think that's good enough on that clip. This is the video I was telling you guys about. Where this pilot, this captain, is explaining that exact approach. The exact approach to that runway and everything and giving us receipts and details. I think there's great value in this. Let's hear this. I think this will be our closing piece. Let's go.
So as they're coming in, most airports, pretty much all airports, at 1,000 feet, you are not allowed to make turns below 1,000 feet. It's called being stable. And in fact, almost every airline has it, and you'll call it and you'll call it and say 1,000, and you call stable, and you may hear that. And that just means that you're stable, you're not sinking more than 1,000 feet, and you're not turning, and you're all configured. Now, Washington, you can make turns to adjust to keep on the center line, but you are not going to be making big turns like this. Now, Washington National, at least for our company, makes exceptions for this rule. And as you can see here, what I talk about, they start breaking off. So in the audio, you can hear several times ATC say, "Are you able for 3-3?" And I don't know if I ever didn't accept it. Maybe there was a time there, but again, this happens daily. If you are landing on runway 1, unless 3-3 has an issue or it's closed, they're going to ask many aircraft if you can take 3-3. And this is actually a very fun approach when you're doing it. I really enjoyed this. Now, you will be paying attention. Now, watch as this aircraft, as it comes in here, right? Normally, I tended to stay a little bit more left. I like to stay over just kind of over the water right here. I wouldn't get this far over. But, this approach looks like they went a little wide, which is, I'm sure it's fine. But I tended to stay a little bit more there. But the downside of that is what these people are doing here on this approach is it's a nice wide turn off to the left. Now, again, look, you're going to hear this 500-foot call, and here goes a full bank turn to line up on runway 33 here. Now, keep this in mind. I'm going to show you this video here in a second. So watch this approach right here as they make this turn. Now, this is the final 500 feet. They're making this turn. Now, you can see an aircraft taking off on runway 1 right there. It's just crossing over 33, and it's off. Now, look right here as I pause this. You are lined up. They are maybe 200-300 feet. We are only maybe 10 seconds away for where this aircraft collided. Now, let's go to the actual crash video. Okay. Now, imagine you're a pilot, right?
Wait.
And you're watching.
Because I don't know if you saw what he was pointing out. What he's showing. Hold on now, because I had to watch it. I'm like, what's he talking about?
Or an aircraft taking off on runway 1 right there. It's
you
just
could barely see it. You just kind of look. You could see a plane in the distance at the far end of the runway taking off to go away from us, everybody. That's important because of what he's going to explain in a moment. But go.
Right here. As they make this turn, now this is the final 500 feet. They're making this turn. Now, you can see an aircraft taking off on runway 1 right there. It's just crossing over 33, and it's off.
There. It's right here. You probably can't see it. You just have to watch it back.
Off. Now, look right here as I pause this. You are lined up. They are maybe 200-300 feet. We are only maybe 10 seconds away for where this aircraft collided. Now, let's go to the actual crash video.
So why that's important is because this bright-ass light that we see here coming, that we see, is actually coming towards us. It's not going away. It's coming towards. So all this activity of this crash is happening behind this aircraft.
Okay. Now imagine you're a pilot, right?
That's a zoom in. But again, to the right, that's that airplane. It's actually coming towards us. It's in front of all this drama that's going to happen. It's just come off the runway. They're about to come onto the runway.
And you're watching here, and you're looking to the left. That helicopter, we're looking south here, which means that came to the right. So imagine all your focus is down, looking to the left.
Right. This is what I was telling you. You're looking down and to the left because you're going over there to this runway. So all your focus that way. You're not expecting anything to come out your right side that you can't even see or wouldn't be looking at. And certainly not at this altitude. You understand? It just makes it more egregious. Hear him because he says it better than me.
Came to the right. So imagine all your focus is down, looking to the left. And this helicopter is coming from this side, on the right side, that you shouldn't be looking for. Now, if I'm just going to talk about this frankly for a second, a lot of times they will do this. They'll say maintain visual separation. So we have some of that audio, and apparently there's a mix and match, because I know military will talk on UF or different frequencies apparently, and you won't always hear them, but ATC can hear them. And it's very strange to me that in this type of approach, I cannot explain to you as a pilot just how, there's not an approach that I've flown as a commercial pilot, at least in the United States, that takes more concentration or effort than a visual to 1, circle to 3-3. If these pilots are circling in here, that you are about to put this plane down on a 5,400 foot runway, you should not have to be looking for traffic. And it is my opinion that out of this, either this runway is going to close, or there is no more helicopter traffic coming under, because there is no reason as a pilot, when you're landing that close to the ground, that you should have to be looking for traffic and worried about getting hit. Like, it's just simply unexcusable. And what I think happened, and again, maybe this is a tiny bit of speculation here, but even if we go back to this crash video, a lot of people keep talking about this airplane here. What most people don't realize, that airplane is in front. That airplane is taking off over here, and it's making this left-hand turn. So the crash you're seeing is behind. That aircraft is already in front. That took off runway 1 and is avoiding one of the restricted airspaces north here of that. So this here, oops, I'm sorry, I keep moving that. I'm on the wrong thing. So that aircraft that you're seeing in the video is up here making a left turn and going up the bank. So coming back to that crash, as I said, watch this video, and they got hit from the right. And now you're here, all your effort, both your heads are turning left looking here, and now you're worried about something at night hitting you from the right? That's pretty insane to me.
Right. So I think I made my point. Yeah, it just makes it more egregious. But again, we need to know who was on that helicopter. And since I've brought evidence that those helicopters can be flown remotely, this could definitely be in that area, because of what the other guys said, like they were at the proper altitude, and then 30 seconds later, they'd gone up to 350 feet. They shouldn't have been there. And this was the only plane they would have seen, because the other plane that I just illustrated, and this pilot just illustrated, was coming off the runway towards us. It was over at the airport. The helicopter and the American Airlines plane were not at the airport yet. They were across the river, or just out over the river of it. You understand? But the film is being shot across the airport to that area. So, suicide or remote control. But who's the other person that's on there? You heard the female Black Hawk pilot say that there should be 4 people on a Black Hawk, and she explained why, for coverage and all of it. But this was 3 people. Who was the third person? In the preliminary reports that I read in the article, we only got 2 names. I couldn't find them when I was doing the video for you, but I had read them. But there was no name of the third person. And then when we were doing the video, we understood that one of them had been pulled out of the water, out of the wreckage, one of the bodies. But we don't know which one that was. What body was pulled out? Where's the other 2? And who was the third one? Who was it? So, your thoughts, everybody. Your thoughts. I've tried to bring as many receipts as I could for both this and the Philadelphia thing. But I'm probably going to be doing some more on this. And if we don't have the opportunity to be live yet, like I said, I've just been having issues with this camera now. And then when I can get the audio, then when I switch it over so it'll be audio and video, then the whole thing goes out for some reason. I don't know what's happening. I don't know. Damn it. Don't forget what I told you at the beginning of the piece, though, you guys, about subscribing and leaving. If you're a new person subscribing, then make sure that you leave a comment that you subscribe, so we have that record of your subscription. And also, if you're a new person and you thumbs up, do the same thing. Leave a comment so we know you left a comment, so we have a record of it. For anybody that's already subscribed, check your subscription. Make sure you're still subscribed to me. And then also, when you thumbs up, also you need to leave a comment to document that you thumbs up, so we have a record of your thumbs up. I leave it here, everybody. This is the Jedi.